Greetings. Thank you each for being present. I'm very grateful for you joining us. I'm so pleased today to have a fantastic guest who's changed my life. I've only been speaking to him for a few minutes, but it feels like I've known his intelligence longer than that. Thank you so much for joining me today, Kirk. I'm very grateful for your presence. How do you do, sir?
Thank you for having me. This is my first interview.
Well, I feel like I'm very privileged because you've made a massive contribution to this astrological world, and maybe not many people know you yet, but I'm sure the right ones do, and over more will as time continues to open, especially this year. It feels like it's your coming out party for sharing what you have contributed. And to me, it's set me up really nicely because there was something along the lines of in 2016, I feel, something like that, 2017, I was looking for a tool online to help me with my astrological practice. And I stumbled across planetwatcher.com, and I'd keep Planet Watcher in my tabs on my computer, on my internet since then, every day over the course of multiple computers. And it has all of the transits on the left hand side, a lovely wheel in the middle, and you can tinker back and forth with the calendar for years in the past and years in the future. A fantastic resource which aided me in sharing all of my broadcasts for years. In fact, I started doing readings on this for clients initially as well, because I prepared to know what the transits were going to be. And so every new moon and full moon broadcast that I would do on astrolada.com or my YouTube channel, I would go and research for the 2 weeks between the full moon and the new moon, every transit. Sometimes there'd be lots, but they were all calculated by your program, which you built and shared for free. And so I'd like to thank you so much for allowing me to cultivate the skill to be able to do that now myself. Without that tool, I'd just do it with my program, but that's the hard work. You know, the old school astrologers would use the ephemeris, but you really helped me step into myself, and I'm very grateful for that. Thank you so much for your contributions.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really enjoy that heartfelt expression because what I have found in most of what everyone does is that it's not heart-centered. It's fake, like people like to just be joyous and pretend like they're happy and bubbly, and they're not being authentic. And I really don't like inauthenticity. I like to be perfectly authentic in everything that I do. I just, there's just no reason to waste time on all of the little things that everyone wastes time on.
Keeping up appearances and stuff like this, it never get anyone anywhere. It's good to cut straight to the point sometimes.
Yes, so I've been ostracized. Everyone thinks I'm crazy because I don't conform to what they want me to be, and they don't understand who I am. And so this is the birthing. This is, look at me, I'm a butterfly emerging from the chrysalis.
Well, when you make such exceptional contributions from behind the scenes, and then you feel like you are just coming into yourself, you're here to be celebrated. You're here to celebrate your whoever you choose to be and however you choose to be you. And I feel
Yes,
like,
I've spent a lifetime mastering myself, and I'm ready now. I just couldn't take the step, it wasn't ready. Like I had so many ideas and they were all floating around in my head, but I just wasn't ready. But now everything is perfect. And I'm ready to move forward with such speed that the world is gonna go like, what the hell just happened?
well, I think we all need
That's
a little bit of that. And this is the
that's the
perfect time.
power of Scorpio and Kundalini and the eighth house. And it's what I have mastered.
Well, you're a very shrewd cat. I must say that. You recently experienced a solar return, but I would like to ask you, so there's been lots of change in the world ever since 2020. And it was actually, we had Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter come closer than they had been in about 6,000 years. They'd not even been all in the same sign of Capricorn in 735 years since the year 1284. And so that was the year of the rat, the same year of that which you would have had a Jupiter return, although that might have fallen into 2019. Regardless, the point being, you are a shrewd cat. A year of the rat is very able to move forward on a project and be very successful after its year, because it's perpetuated in the year of the ox. And now we're in the year of the tiger. It's my year. It's my year. But this means that your Jupiter cycle is expanding and growing. And you recently have had to see that your website, which we're talking about in a sense, that we're celebrating, that you firstly is your great contribution, one of many, which I'm sure is going to be made more aware of, is actually being rebuilt, because there's this kind of maybe potential pressure from people to say that astrology shouldn't be celebrated. I saw a colleague of mine, Heather, I'll say, mentioned that Zuckerberg has actually put a cancellation on the hashtag astrology and the advertisement of astrology. And so we're going to see that this gives extra influence to the likes of astrology. Anything that's been censored in the past 18 months since that 2020 scenarios has been only made red flags to what is actually of value.
Astrology is the single most powerful lever of control of everything. Everything. And I'm at the center of it.
We all are. Every single one of us, the center. What can I ask you, when it was the first that you encountered astrology? Was it something that was passed on through your family, or something you discovered in your teenage years, or something that was, when did it come along for you?
Well, I was like most people, and I didn't really think that the stars out there had anything to do with down here. And my mother was a hippie, and then she was not a hippie anymore. She became normalized, but she carried on the legacy of the hippie. And so she had dabbled in astrology, and she gave me a birth chart for my birthday one year.
Wow, that's a really good gift. How old were you when you got your first birth chart reading?
I mean, it must have been around 15 or so.
That's cool.
And
I never had one that early, as far as I remember. it was later for me that I found it, maybe in my mid-20s.
It was, it was a little chain reaction of events that just bubbled and bubbled and bubbled, and it became, it became the center of my life, and the the very I've dabbled in a lot of different fields and I've mastered a lot of different areas, but astrology is the one. It is the tree trunk that holds everything together.
So for me, like what you said there, like astrology also made me place myself in the center as well, as the centaur, the spirit incarnate in the flesh, each of us being that, right? But also it centered me, it grounded me, it was practical, and I didn't perceive it to be practical from the way out, like from before I got to know it. And then you read a book and it's undeniable. And so I was like, this is a logic. This is logical. This is like a Rubik's cube. It's profoundly sensible. And it puts us right in the driver's seat. And so did you already know how to program computer stuff? Because like, I wouldn't be able to program a website or anything like that, or make an astrology wheel that was calculated with the Gregorian calendar and all of the transits and all of the moving components and parts. But you've done this. Like, that's quite profound. I know that I've seen your chart, you're a very Uranian man and very smart, wise man. But like, to be able to put this together is quite an effort and quite a feat. I must congratulate you. So how did you have the skills to do this, and what age was it, like what year was it that you were inspired to bring this forward?
So I didn't really have a lot of friends when I was growing up, so I enjoyed just reading the encyclopedia, and then I would play video games, and then I got into programming, and I just taught myself computer programming. And my mother had briefly married a computer programmer, and it was kind of like it was a divine union for me. And the marriage failed, but I benefited profoundly from it, because he was developing in Visual Basic, and I said, I really want to learn Visual Basic. And so he just gave me all of his books on it, and I just consumed everything, and I learned it, and I started building stuff, and I programmed all these little tools for my school buddies, and they were like, how did you do this? Because I made like study tools to learn, to study for the test, because in order to learn, the best thing to do is to be practical, to engage. And so everything is a project of learning. And that's how I mastered everything. I just do it.
Absorbed it.
And do it.
Action.
Just because I like doing it. I'm curious, and it's fun, and I can do something with it, and I'm excited to do it. and I want to build something with it, and I want to learn how to do it. And so I teach myself what I need to learn how to do it. So I was about 10 years old, 12 years old when I started teaching myself how to computer program. And that was right at the beginning of the technology revolution. And my biological parents were divorced, and they were living very close to each other. And I would go back and forth between the two houses, and the person who had the better computer was the one that I wanted to be with. Oh, and so then they would compete for me. They would compete for me. They would get a better computer, and then I would go over to that person's house and spend time on that computer.
While you were creating your mastery.
Yes. And I was just a little, I had my own joy. I had my own direction, and I didn't listen to what they wanted me to do. And I was different. And I just did my own thing.
Well, that's so cool that you found your way, and like this give you this meaning. Do you realize how many people you've helped? Many professional people you've helped? I've seen some astrologers that actually have made much wider audience than me, much more money than I've made so far as an astrologer. I'm not even doing it for the money, right? I'm doing it because I love astrology. I love doing readings. Eventually I like to just write songs about it and teach all the time. I'm teaching workshops. I told you I put on this festival the other day, but there's other astrologers that I've seen that have a wide audience that have used your program for all of their work. I've actually invested, not to diminish your great contribution, I've invested in professional astrology equipment because I feel like that would help my products and that would help my practice. But your contributions have helped people far and wide. And so I want you to recognize how influential your work was, even if you felt like it was something you did that was easy and it was up and it was dormant, and you've moved on, you've done other things. Every day, everybody's logging on to that website and utilizing the gift which you contributed.
Thank you. It's nice to get that feedback, because I just do it from the heart, and it doesn't matter what other people think about it. I just do it from the heart, and it flows from the heart. And because it flows from the heart, it's the best that it can be. It's superior to everything, because all the other people are trying to get ahead of other people, and they're trying to compete, and they're not creative and innovative.
Well, I've got a very interesting question for you. So this is interesting. So this is something we touched upon before we press record, and something when we were coming to arrange our meeting, you said something very precise, and it's something you've written a passage about on your Facebook and on a video you made on your YouTube channel. One must be very specific with the coordinates within space and time that we're choosing. And so what we did, we chose a reference. So we kind of said, okay, let's do it in 24 hours from now. And there's a gauge there. And so basically, it's great to elect a specific, but also to feel into the moment where that energy is correct. As you were calling it, this is the Kundalini energy, is to find where that biting point is, where the magnet is, where's that, what do we call it? Je ne sais quoi. I don't know what it is.
It's the present moment is the only thing that's real. There's no sense in imagining something that might be, because it may never be. Be here now. Enjoy life now. Don't wait, because tomorrow may never come. Be happy now.
When you start to feel the boom, 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 boom of excitement because you're about to go and do the thing, that's the romance. That's the Neptune coming in, because you can imagine it and you haven't done it, but you're about to do it. That Neptune can be stalled by our Pluto.
I'm an unstoppable volcano of magma. It changes everyone and everything, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
It's always there, teeming beneath the surface level. You can feel this now in this energy before the equinox that we've got going on. It's like a volcano is dormant, about to go. It's a very good analogy.
But it's a graceful magma, because I'm in control of myself.
It's got, it's about releasing itself gently, like submerging yourself into a bath slowly. You don't want to scald oneself. You don't want the water to spill. You want to be able to enjoy that bath for a longevity of its profound qualities.
Yes, so everybody get on this train with me. We're going along the yellow brick road to the Emerald City, and it's unstoppable, and it's delightful, and you just have to surrender to the current, because there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Well, I have a very interesting question for you. So your service, planetwatcher.com, was just a service, no personality at anything. And then at some point in 2020, you put this graphic with the highlight of the asteroids with Eris and some of the other asteroids, because it was a very pinnacle time with the aspects that was coming. It was a very ruthless freedom fighter, rebellious, let's roll a few golden apples in kind of moment. And since then, you started sharing like kind of some of the things that was been going on in the hidden government and the political world, and putting links to seeping out various different truths, if you will, and sharing as a freedom fighter. And so this has been expanding your repertoire of what you're sharing. You're sharing astrology, which is profoundly succinct, but also now you're sharing what other people, some people might say one has to be discerning over, but once you get into it, you know more and more and more. It's shrouded with mystery and Neptunian qualities, and I think it's important to stay anchored in, for me, I like to stay anchored in work and staying progressive in what I'm doing, but I know that actually there's a lot of things going on in the world, and to know it is to be empowered, but to be immersed and submerged by it can be quite entrenching. But I like the fact that you're sharing. I like the fact that you're coming out and you're broadening your creative expression. I love the fact that you're making YouTube videos and you're talking about the metaphysics of reality. And so this is really exciting that somebody who's provided something so practical, useful, succinct, and a tool which has helped and developed many different people along their journey is sharing profound spiritual, metaphysical truths about the reality that can progress a lot of crusty people who are astrologers, that are traditionalists, who've utilized the tropical system, who may never ever go into the recognition of metaphysical properties. So we're really smashing the traditionalist template and opening up a whole new world at these moments, and you're playing a role in that, and I appreciate you for that.
Yes, I've had a very colorful experience with the astrological community. We organized conferences for about 20 years together, and it was a very joyful experience. And then I had my awakening and shattered everything. And everybody thought I was crazy. And they're still picking up the pieces and they don't know what to do with themselves.
What was it that you shared? What was it that you shared?
But I'm going to pick up all the pieces and I'm going to make it all better again. And, you know, I started studying at Kepler College because it was an attempt to get astrology into academia, but it sort of failed because it was just history and they were no good at math. And
The inclusion of spirit in the telling of astrology is very important. And in the academic world of astrology, I've noticed it's been devoid of spirit, and it makes it too rigid. And I grew up in England learning astrology with some very great traditionalists who've studied for years and stuff like this. And it was great to learn an academic template from being around them. But the inclusion of spirit into the practice of astrology is a vital component for us to be able to teach it as an art. It's my opinion. And this is what I see a bridge needs to be made. And I feel like people like ourselves, our generation, are doing this. We're leading with it. We're not waiting for permission. We're running with it.
Yeah. See, what happened was we sprouted, we branched off into different directions, and nobody had mastery of any one thing, and everybody started exploring all the different categories of astrology, and we went in polar opposite directions, and broke, you know. And so now that everything is broken and shattered in a bunch of little bits of flotsam everywhere, we can put it all back together again and build a castle. Because I have completed the evolution of modern astrology. That's the direction I went in. I see everything. I have the whole picture. I was born the day after Albert Einstein. He was March 14. I'm March 15. He wanted to figure out the theory of everything. He didn't do it. He died. I did it. I complete his dying ambition to fulfill and complete the theory of everything. I understand everything. I have completed the evolution of modern astrology. It is not intuition or guesswork. It is conclusive mathematical fact. And when you see math and art combined into glorious perfection, you're going to have a Kundalini orgasm of enlightenment.
Well, we've seen in the media, that in the public expression of Hollywood through this Matrix movie, like this modernization and permeization of the culture with regards to the spiritual metaphysics of this reality. And I feel like if we see that we are the individual actor, as well as the theatre and the whole cast within the theatre, as well as the director, the writer, we play every role. but we are the center. And so when we're in the romance of the moment and playing in fullness our own character, we can be omnipresent and aware that we are every single other one, but still within the romance of being this individual spark too. But yet we can go into the daydream, la la Piscean, behind the curtain, Wizard of Oz land, and program the reality, deconstruct our doubts, deconstruct our fears, and then face them, because it's a real physical world. We have to face going to getting our leg chopped off if we got to have that done. Hopefully never does anyone have to have that done, but you know what I'm saying? That's a physical thing. Sometimes that has to happen to people, and you have to face these things, whether it's going to just get you brush your teeth in the morning or whatever it might be. We have to face doing these things in this world because we signed up to be this individual character. This is the gift. We've got this vessel, we've got this mothership, which is the body, this individual space, the character, which is also creating the whole gosh darn thing. We're just borrowing space from each other because you're the individual center of your space, and everybody watching the individual character in their role. But each of us are the center of our own reality. This is the way I perceive it. It's astrology that allows us to know the energy on the hymn sheet. We're not, in a sense, victim to it. It's like, hey, this is the energy which we get to work with today. This is the energy that we can empower ourselves with today. We can create a new story for ourselves because we're dragging ourselves out of this Kali Yuga. And it is us changing the script of our victim stories with this energy every day, perpetually. It takes every 12 years. We're like, wow, really changing that 12 years, really changing that 28 years. You know, with our cycles, we can really see the development of what's going on. And this is the great gift.
Yes, the linchpin to elevate astrology is proactivity. We are co-creators. We're not simply spectators. It's the compromise between free will and destiny.
It is a compromise, but we should never compromise ourselves. And I think this place as a universe, as a Mother Earth nursery, is a bit of a school for us to learn our role, to learn that we are the leading role and the main authority. We are the foundation of love and magnetism. And that's inspiring. It's electrifying.
Yes. We have the power. It's the final ingredient. It's the cycle of the elements. So we start with, what do we start with? Air, where we're all fluffing about and we're exploring everything and everyone and trying to figure out what we like and what we're into, and exchanging information with other people, and that's the air. And then we move into water, which is after we've done that exchange, then we go inward and we see, what do I like and what do I not like? And then we go back and forth with to know yourself. Okay, so first we start with air to explore the world and the possibilities, and then we go into water to know ourselves. Who am I? What do I like? What do I want to do? What makes me happy? And then after air and water, then we go to earth. And earth is when we make it real. That's when we start building and we ground the foundation and we learn skills and we get grounded in the earth. And then from that grounded place of earth, we have the foundation to launch into fire. Fire is action. When we have explored everything through air and then distilled what we like and don't like through water, and then built it up into something solid and real through earth, then we go to fire and we take action and we become productive and powerful. That's when we become the avatar. The Avatar, The Last Airbender, is a cartoon series, and I highly recommend it because it is a wonderful show and it tells the story of the elements, and it's a delightful experience. And they did 2 of them. They have the original and then they have the sequel. And it is an astrological masterpiece. They don't even know what they have created. They have psychically channeled a masterpiece creation. And the Avatar, The Last Airbender is just one of the best creative things that I have ever seen. And it's so rich with reality. They're in tune. They know what's happening. They're defining reality.
I absolutely love the allegories that you can see permeated through our culture, especially in things like what you're talking about. And just to close out now, like, because I actually I'm so grateful for your time, and I know it's valuable, as I actually have some other commitments that I have to see to, but I have one important question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Your website is going to be relaunched, and I would like to know what your excitement is for your launch and what other things you're going to be bringing forward in the coming dates.
Well, I have already programmed a superior replacement to the old chart wheel.
Can I be so bold and to say, have you got a screen share for us so we can have a sneak preview? Or is that too cheeky?
No.
Well, it was worth asking, wasn't it? Worth asking.
It's beautiful.
When's the release?
It's beautiful. It's the best thing that you'll ever use in your entire life. It's an orgasm of constant joy.
When are you sharing it with the world, your big orgasm?
What?
When are you sharing your orgasm with the world?
I've already built it.
Well, I keep checking back, even though I've got my astrology program, and I'm excited for the release. You've made a massive difference to my experience, and I'm very grateful for you. So be sure to make sure that you let us know so that we can tell the audience that they can find on www.planetwatcher.com.
Remember, time is an illusion. You have to get into your heart and be here now.
Presence is everything. You are the gift. We are the gift.
Yes.
And this is the current, where all things were seeded. So rewrite the raves. It's easy for me to say. I'm very grateful for you showing up for me today. It's so good to be able to share you with this audience, because you, as I say, I'm very grateful for your contributions, and I'm excited for to test out your new software as you release it. Thank you
This
so
was
much for being with
wonderful.
me.
I'm so glad we did this. Thank you so much for reaching out.
I'm going to link your YouTube channel in the description box below so people can follow you.
Yes, send me this. This is a wonderful video.
Well, you can put this out on your channel as well if you would like. My name's Philip
Yes.
Daniel Miles for the audience on your channel, and my channel is called Unifying Perspectives. I interview lots of brilliant influencers like yourself, Kirk, on my channel. People come and join, and daily content and things like this. But again, thank you so much for your time, and I intend that you have a fantastic spring vernal equinox in the and everybody has a brilliant 2022.
This has been wonderful. I'm so looking forward to receiving the video, and we're gonna just send it to the world.
It's ready to live. Thank you so much, Kirk. Cheerio for now.
You too.